So we learned this week, folks, that Rudy Giuliani, the man who was at Donald Trump's side throughout most of the attempts to overturn the 2020 election, he did in fact go and meet with Special Prosecutor Jack Smith's grand jury. And legal experts, for the last few days, there has been no shortage of these folks that do know what they're talking about because they've either handled cases like this, they've prosecuted cases like this. But all these legal experts have been out there telling us this week that Giuliani's voluntary testimony in front of the grand jury, voluntary according to Giuliani's spokesperson, I'll get more to that in a moment, they say that this is essentially viewed as a precursor to Giuliani agreeing to a plea deal with the prosecutors. Now, again, there's multiple different legal experts, and of course, they're legal experts from the left that have made this statement this week, okay? This is not just one, it's not two, several in several different articles and interviews. On Twitter, they have explained that this is typically what you see from an individual that is about to get a plea deal or is in the process of working out a plea deal. So Giuliani might be ready to flip on Donald Trump, which might actually be the final nail in the coffin on that attempt to overturn the election investigation. But there's a couple of things that don't add up here. And I think it's worth talking about because I don't want to get people's hopes up, don't want to drag you too far down, but I also don't want you to think things that aren't real. As I said, Giuliani's people said that he appeared voluntarily in front of the grand jury. That's not true. Giuliani was in fact subpoenaed earlier this year by the grand jury. So, he was in the neighborhood, thought he'd stop by. That's not what happened, so that's not true. And because that's not true, suddenly all of the ideas that Giuliani is working out a plea deal, that he's flipping because he went there voluntarily, all of that kind of goes down a little bit on the likelihood meter. So maybe it's not as open shut as we'd all think, right? Because pieces of information were forgotten about, again, like the fact that he was subpoenaed earlier this year. So he's not just showing up because he felt like it. He's not just showing up because he's begging for a deal. Part of the reason he showed up is because he legally had to. So, I do think, however, that Rudy Giuliani could be on the verge of flipping against Donald Trump. And here's why. Giuliani has been watching everything that has been happening, and he's been defending Donald Trump. He defends him on his radio show. He defends him when he goes on other shows. But the indictments are starting to add up. And Giuliani sees how Donald Trump is out there reacting in the media, basically incriminating himself every time he opens his mouth. And Giuliani knows Trump. He knows him very well, and he knows that Trump will throw everybody under the bus as quickly as he can to save his own skin. And Giuliani knows that it's only a matter of time before he's the next one in line to be tossed under the bus. So, if that is the realization that Rudy Giuliani is coming to, in addition to the fear of spending your remaining days on this planet locked behind a prison cell, that would be a strong motivator for Rudy Giuliani to go and say, all right, listen, special prosecutor, grand jury, all you folks, I got some information I want to tell you. Some of it I cannot tell you because it's covered under attorney-client privilege. So we have to get the court to look at this material and then tell us it's not covered by attorney-client privilege, because that's another piece a lot of people are forgetting. And then I can tell you this information, but I don't want to tell you this without an immunity deal in exchange. Because, there's some bad stuff here. So maybe that's the conversation Rudy Giuliani had this week. Maybe he showed up there and just repeatedly said, I plead the fifth, I plead the fifth, fifth. We don't know, and we're probably not going to know until we get the next round of indictments. But the experts are also telling us, based on the movement we're seeing from Smith and based on the things that Trump is hinting at, it seems like those indictments might be closer than we think.
Thanks for watching, everyone, and well, here comes the awkward part at the end of the video where I ask you to like, comment, and share, and subscribe for more content from Ring of Fire. Also, you should consider becoming a member for some exclusive content and perks, including early access videos and exclusive videos. Check out the link in the description.